What was the worst friend zone you have ever seen/been in? She said she saw me as more of a brother when I asked her out, then from that point on completely loved talking to me even more. Like, what in the fucking Game of Thrones shit are you playing, Kimberly? I had parked in the loading zone at Pizza Hut and we were inside the Wi-Fi hot zone watching NFL Red Zone eating P-zones, and then she told me about the server who she wanted to ask out. I kind of zoned out and missed everything she said after that. Apparently my car was getting towed thanks to zoning laws. Had been dating this girl off and on for a few months. After a while she was coming around to really liking me, and she wanted to go on a trip together. I said sure. After a few more dates, she started sending me TXTs and such saying how special I was, and she was always thinking of me and doing heavy making out one night. I'm fairly well off, so I said sure, we can go on a vacation. I'll buy you your ticket as an early Christmas present. We were going to a fancy resort in Mexico. She said she was planning to sleep over with me that night, but now would rather come over a couple nights from now. I took her home, and she told me she loved me. I booked a vacation that evening. The next day I get all kinds of nice sexy love notes from her. The next day I get a text saying she just wanted to be friends. I asked what the hell happened. Oh, nothing. Just thinking. I told her no freaking way we would ever be friends. I can't be friends with someone that fickle, and I'm friends with many ex-romantic interests. Over the next couple months she contacted me a few times. She said she never meant to hurt me. I asked her if she was kidding. I couldn't formulate a cleaner way to hurt someone. And I want the money for those non-refundable tickets I bought you. She agreed. She's really strapped for cash, which is why I bought hers in the first place. This morning, Valentine's Day, as a special gift, I sent her the bill. That felt good. I took care of a girl for a solid 4 months and made sure she was always happy, made sure she had what she wanted, and even helped her family. About the 3-month mark I got to see and play with the boobs once, and then she suddenly just stopped talking to me, telling me we are just friends every once in a while, just to find out she was dating my friend. Okay, so I was the friendzoner. I'm a lesbian. I'm also a dumb bitch of a lesbian, so I never know when guys are hitting on me because that's not what I'm working for. About a month ago I made my very first friend at college. About a week ago he asked me to hang out and I was like, oh heck yeah. So about an hour into hanging out he tried to put his arm around me. And I jumped back like I'd just been fucking shot and hiss out, this is not a date. I didn't mean to sound as defensive as I did, but I apologized and let him know I was gay, and he was like oh shit, and it was an awkward evening. I still feel bad I could have handled that without turning into Medusa. So a former friend of mine back in high school eventually gave me a chance at us dating. Basic backstory was that I was waiting like 8 months before she said yes, and initially she said no, citing a bad breakup she had before we met. I was like, I completely understand. Now to the friendzoning. About a month into us dating it came to the point where I could tell the dating wasn't really working for us, her specifically. So we talked and I outright asked her if she wanted to go back to just friends, and that's what we wanted. I was bummed, but I was like, at least I got my chance. Fast forward 3 months to around like Christmas, a mutual friend of ours let slip some information, which I eventually took to her and was like, so and so must be confused, right? And she said no. What I had learned from our mutual friend is that she was seeing her ex at the same time she said yes to me. Her reasoning for saying yes to me was she felt like I was waiting for her to change her mind, which I wasn't, so she figured she'd give me my chance. Things wouldn't work, and things could go back to the way before I started to like her. So naturally, having been cheated on before, I did not take this well, and I haven't spoken to her since, nor have I spoken to 3 former mutual friends since. Knowing how much they hung out, it was impossible for them not to know she was seeing her ex. And that is the story of how an inconsiderate friend actually ruined her friendship with me and ruined 3 of her friends' friendship with me. I classify this as a friendzone because I was friends with her for a few months after the breakup before I found out the other stuff. I hate the term friendzone, but I do have a story I'm often frustrated by. I was a student at university and my next door neighbor in the residential college was this very beautiful girl. We clicked immediately in our first week, but I was also a very nervous guy, so I skipped the midweek part. By that weekend she had gotten together with another guy. They remained dating the entire time I was at college. Their relationship was on the rocks during the week I left, when she told me I kinda regret that I got with him. Meant I never got a chance with you. Damn you, Betty, haha. A girl who I was interested in once told me, "You have no idea how many times I've prayed to God I was attracted to you. I've wasted so much time trying to figure out if that was a compliment." Had a girl that showed all the classic signals like the basics: touching, smiling, laughing at horrendously bad jokes, snuggling on the bus on the way to school. She once got so excited that she jumped into my arms but got a little high with the jump and hit me square in the jaw with her shoulder and rung my bell a little. She would always get excited when she saw me. I'd always get a hug. Once even dropped into a class of hers running an errand for a teacher of mine and she jumped up in the middle of a lesson to give me a hug. This went on for about a month, maybe a little more, before I asked her out and got the "I'm sorry but" speech, and everything after was awkward. I saw her 4 or 5 years later at a mutual friend's funeral, and though I was closer to the friend and their family, she was the first one to greet me with the same excitedness, albeit more low-key since the circumstance she had back in high school. I still don't get her but have long since gave up trying to understand the opposite sex. So I'm a pretty normal kid on the high school soccer team. Only white freshman to make varsity, so I was kinda hot shit with the Mexicans. Super sexy Mexican chick starts talking to me. I talk back. She basically says, "You are going to homecoming with me." I oblige. Naturally, things get to grinding and bumping, and it's pretty obvious I have a boner poking her booty. She then says, "What the fuck is?" Totally digs guys, not the cock. Girl I liked constantly talked about her sexual experiences in detail and I helped her with all her emotional troubles. I was too oblivious to see I was her diary and I thought we were becoming a couple. Teenage me was dumb and horny. Well, friends for 5 years, have loved her for 4, 1/2. Lately I've been doing increasingly obvious things to try to make it obvious, like cooking her meals, drunkenly asking her if she ever had a crush on me and admitting I did on her for at least 4 years. We went swimming a few times, played Marco Polo and had some extended holding on moments. What kills me is that so many times I've felt this connection build while we spend time together and talk about serious stuff, but then at the end she says, "Goodbye dude," or "You're such a good friend." I wonder if she realized and just uses these farewells as a sort of weapon against my statement of love. Okay, I've posted this about 50 times, but you know, I want it again. My wife of 10 years, almost 11 now, told me about 6 months ago that she was never in love with me. That she married me because she thought that was the thing she was supposed to do. We were young, dumb and Catholic. That she thinks of me like a best friend and a brother. Lately she's been joking, calling me roomie. To summarize, friendzone by wife. Back in high school, I had a big crush on my best friend. He called me several times a day and we spoke for hours. He had a girlfriend of 3-ish years, but he still ditched her all the time to hang out with me. Beginning of junior year, they finally broke up. I had been meaning to tell him how I felt for a while, and around Christmas I finally had the courage to do it. I told him how I felt, and he kinda ignored me. Hours later I received a message on DeviantArt from him telling me he didn't understand why I liked him. Or why anyone did. Blatantly told me I was an idiot for doing so. He then told me he loved me as his best friend in the world. It hurt for him to use those words like that after I told him how I felt. He came out spring of senior year, which cleared some things up. Freshman year of high school, had a girl that on the first day of school wrote me a note that she wanted to fuck me. It was worded as such that she wanted to rape me in the woods. Kinda creepy but cute 14-year-old boner as I read these words. Tried to schedule 9 dates. Yes, I remember the number, and she said she would go on all of them. Got stood up on all of them. I was a freshman, so my dad had to drive my 14-year-old ass to each of them. He insisted on waiting an hour for each of them cause he said that was a considerate time to wait. Imagine sitting in the car with your dad for an hour, 9 different times, waiting for a girl to show up for a date only to find out that she forgot to text you that she couldn't go. Awkward, yes, I would say. Let's just say it's hard on both of us when dad has to tell you that your date stood you up. I cried the first 2 times. Me and this girl are still friends today. What in the hell is wrong with me?